Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been making waves in the world of international finance: China's ambition to make the yuan a global reserve currency and the significant hurdles it faces in this pursuit. We'll also explore the broader context of the BRICS nations' efforts to challenge the US dollar's dominance. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. First, let's set the stage. For decades, the US dollar has reigned supreme as the world's primary reserve currency. It's the go-to for international trade, central bank reserves, and global financial transactions. But in recent years, there's been growing talk about challenging this status quo, particularly from China and its BRICS partners: Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. Now you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, having your currency as the global reserve gives a country significant economic and geopolitical advantages. It allows for cheaper borrowing, greater global influence, and the ability to run larger trade deficits without as much economic pain. So it's no wonder China has its eyes on this prize. But here's the thing: becoming a global reserve currency isn't just about economic might. It requires a complex mix of factors, many of which China is struggling with. Let's break down some of the major obstacles. First up, we have transparency and trust. This is a biggie, folks. For a currency to be widely accepted globally, there needs to be trust in the issuing country's financial system and overall governance, and this is where China faces some serious challenges. Unlike the United States, which has a long history of financial transparency and independent institutions, China's financial system is often seen as opaque and heavily controlled by the government. The Chinese Communist Party has a tight grip on economic data, and there have been numerous instances of data manipulation or selective reporting. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many international observers questioned the accuracy of China's reported case numbers and economic data. This lack of transparency extends to China's financial markets as well. While the US has strict reporting requirements for publicly traded companies and a robust regulatory framework, China's markets are often seen as less reliable and more prone to government intervention. Now let's talk about China's banking sector. It's massive, but it's also facing some serious challenges. Chinese banks are sitting on a mountain of bad loans, particularly in the real estate sector. The recent troubles of property giant Evergrande highlighted the risks lurking in China's financial system. In contrast, US banks, while not without their own issues, are generally seen as more stable and better regulated. Another crucial factor is the depth and liquidity of financial markets. Here's where the US really shines. The US bond and stock markets are the deepest and most liquid in the world. This means that large transactions can occur without significantly moving prices, which is crucial for a reserve currency. China's markets, while growing, are still not at this level. The Chinese stock market is often described as a casino due to its volatility and the prevalence of retail investors rather than institutions. The bond market, while large, is still primarily domestic and lacks the depth and international participation of the US Treasury market. Now let's shift gears and talk about demographics. This might seem unrelated, but it's actually crucial for long-term economic stability. China is facing a demographic time bomb. Due to its former one-child policy, China is aging rapidly and its workforce is shrinking. This could lead to slower economic growth and increased social spending in the future. The US, while also aging, has a more balanced demographic outlook thanks to immigration and higher birth rates. This demographic advantage provides more stability and growth potential, which are attractive features for a reserve currency. Human rights issues are another factor that can't be ignored. China's treatment of Uyghurs in Xinjiang, its crackdown on democracy in Hong Kong, and its overall human rights record are significant concerns for many countries and investors. These issues can create reputational risks and potential sanctions, which could deter the use of the yuan in international transactions. So, with all these challenges, is it game over for China's currency ambitions? Not necessarily. This is where the BRICS come in. The idea of a BRICS-backed currency is gaining traction, and it could potentially offer an alternative to both the US dollar and the Chinese yuan alone. The strength of a BRICS currency would lie in its diversity. By combining the economic might of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and potentially other countries that have expressed interest in joining, A BRICS currency could offer a more balanced and resilient alternative to the dollar. Moreover, a multi-country backed currency could be more resistant to sanctions. One of the US dollar's strengths as a reserve currency is the ability of the US to use it as a tool for sanctions. A BRICS currency controlled by multiple powers would be much harder to sanction effectively. However, creating such a currency would be no small feat. The BRICS nations have vastly different economic systems, political structures, and national interests. Coordinating monetary policy and maintaining stability across such a diverse group would be a monumental challenge. So where does this leave us? The reality is, dethroning the US dollar as the world's reserve currency is a long-term game. While China and the BRICS nations are making moves in this direction, the dollar's position remains strong for now. The US still has significant advantages: deep and liquid financial markets, a strong rule of law, an independent central bank, and a long history as a stable reserve currency. These are not easily replicated or replaced. However, the world is changing, and the future of global finance is likely to be more multipolar. We may see a gradual shift towards a system where multiple currencies play significant roles in global trade and finance, rather than a single dominant currency. For China, the path to making the yuan a true global reserve currency is clear, but challenging. It would need to significantly increase the transparency of its financial system, liberalize its capital account, allow for more market-driven exchange rates, and address concerns about human rights and the rule of law. These are profound changes that would require a fundamental shift in how China's economy and governance operate. As for the BRICS, their collective effort to create an alternative to the dollar is worth watching. While it faces significant hurdles, it represents a broader trend of emerging economies seeking more say in the global financial system. In conclusion, while the US dollar's position as the world's primary reserve currency is not under immediate threat, the landscape is slowly shifting. China's yuan and a potential BRICS currency face significant obstacles, but they represent a growing challenge to dollar dominance. As investors and global citizens, it's crucial to keep an eye on these developments, as they could have far-reaching implications for the global economy in the decades to come. That's all for today, folks. If you found this video informative, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses of global economic trends. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, this is Twilight of the Dollar signing off.